Why do you have so many fucking Mexican jumping beans, Chris? Where'd you get your bat?
So I can flick it and this happens.
Stop it. I hate that noise.
I actually might have just killed this run by
Did you
accident.
fucking save?
Yeah.
Dave, you massive
you
fucking flounder.
nincompoop. You were actually a tard nozzle. Oh my god, Dave, save.
What, right now?
Well, you already saved!
Alright, yeah, you're right.
Dave, you're a lemon-scented tard nozzle.
Thanks, Chris.
Only played with friends.
You guys excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been the 30s thing. Technically, I like my favorite period is like 28 to 30. I really like olden cartoons.
28
Hold
to
down
30.
to crouch.
It's
But
a lot
like
of
2
fun.
years.
Is that on the right stick? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you got it.
Oh no, it's the left stick. Press A to jump. Jump. Tap for shorts.
What?
Hold for
Tap
high.
for what does that mean? Tap for short.
Yeah, what? I thought you just... Was that the jump?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a jump. What?
It is, no, he's
Do you
jumping.
jump sideways in this game?
I
Yeah,
guess.
there's like an
There's a
arc to the
thing here,
arrow.
though, but how am I supposed to jump up?
Is that like
though?
a reference
You
to
can-
old cartoons?
I
What
don't know.
What are you talking about?
That they jump sideways?
What do you mean
Oh,
they jump sideways? What are you
I-
talking?
Oh,
Okay,
there you go.
he's fine. He's fine.
there's-
Let him go.
There's a okay, so there's a side jump like that, and then there's a gimp jump like that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I can't get out. What the fuck? How am I supposed to do that?
You gotta jump up there. I think?
It says dash. You probably just
Yeah.
go around it.
Oh,
Wait, can I have the controller for a second?
okay.
I think you're supposed to dash into it to knock it over. It's not working.
What the
What
fuck?
the fuck is this?
Oh, is this game gonna be fucking broken?
The fuck?
Oh wait, no, you gotta jump down under it. It says descend under it over there.
Oh, you're right. Well, I'm already under it though.
No, you're not. You're on the fucking.
No,
Okay.
this is like a 30s cartoon. You gotta squeeze under it or something.
Like that?
I think so.
He doesn't want to do it though. Chris,
What?
that doesn't make any sense.
I
What the
mean,
fuck do you do?
You probably have to like use the use
no,
the
yeah,
height.
yeah, do that again.
Use the
Okay.
height from the block
Now
to
just
jump over.
now just jump over onto the other
He
one.
falls. He just falls.
Because
if
you're
you
not
do it.
pressing jump, silly.
Yeah, I am. See, he just falls.
That's.
What?
Is that his jump?
Yeah, that's his jump.
That's
Yeah.
not his jump. You're pressing the wrong button.
No, that's the jump.
Are you pressing I?
Julian, that's the jump. That's a sideways jump.
Don't yell. Are
It
you
says
pressing,
dash.
Are you pressing A or
Look,
Y?
look up there. See?
Oh yeah,
Dash.
he points at it. Yeah.
See? What the fuck?
Okay, do you want me to play?
Yeah, what? I don't get it. Okay. That doesn't seem right.
How fucking long
Yeah, you
can
can
this go on for?
Activate.
Just calm down.
Can't be serious.
The story. You're gonna be like an asshole, Chris. What?
15
You're
minutes.
the one who's getting fucking
play every
uptight.
single
This is a
fucking
fucking
game. Give me the
video.
controller,
This is a
goddammit.
video.
That's insane.
into thin air, as if he had never existed in the first place. In April 1976, 4 months after the original disappearance, a farmer happened
the
to
fuck
find
is
his
this?
body. It was lying there in the middle of a field, completely in plain sight. It is unlikely that hundreds of volunteers would have missed this in the initial search, and thus many people were left confused, even more so after the autopsy results revealed that there were no bodily injuries other than a small scrape to his leg. His cause of death was ruled as exposure, and no traces of alcohol were found in his blood, despite witnesses seeing him having a
Can't
drink
hear.
at the hotel. It wasn't until a further 10 years later that any trace of his plane was then found by a pair of clam divers, not too far from the original runway. However, it is unconfirmed whether this was Gibbs' plane. And if it was, it doesn't make sense as to why or how the plane and pilots were separated, or why Gibb was not injured other than a small scrape to his leg. Several theories and speculations
This
have
guy's a
emerged regarding this incident. One theory suggests that Gibb miscalculated his flight, possibly becoming disoriented in the dark. After crash landing, he might have tried to seek help, but succumbed to hyperthermia. Critics argue that Gibbs, an experienced pilot, would not have taken such risks or made such errors. Another possibility is simple mechanical failure. Some even suggest foul play, stating that the body was placed intentionally after whatever accident occurred. This theory remains speculative, with no concrete evidence supporting it. The remote and rugged setting of the Isle of Mull
Okay.
also
try and
had
figure out
few
what happened.
supernatural explanations, including UFO sightings and paranormal
So,
intervention. These theories,
Gibson
while
crashed
popular
his
in certain
plane.
circles, though as usual lack
Can't
real
listen to the
support.
name Gibbs without
Authorities
thinking.
conducted several inquiries, but none yielded definitive answers. As stated before, the official investigation concluded that Gibbs likely died from exposure after exiting the plane
Fuck.
post-crash. The absence of several injuries on his body and the lack of aircraft wreckage only
Josh
further
and me.
complicated the investigation. The Great Mull Air Mystery
Yo.
remains an enigmatic chapter in aviation history. Despite extensive
name is Josh and me.
investigations and myriad theories, the true
I'm
circumstances
gonna keep calling
of
him
Peter
Gibbs.
Gibbs' ill-fated flight and subsequent death remain completely unknown.
Nice.
Missing lighthouse keepers. The disappearance of the
Okay, yeah,
Eileen Moore
Gibbs, he
lighthouse
crashed,
keepers in December
crashed his ship.
1900 remains one of the most perplexing maritime mysteries of all time. Eileen
Oh,
Moore,
man.
part of the Flannan Isles, located in the outer Hebrides of the western coast
Imagine
of
you worked
Scotland,
there.
was home to a newly constructed lighthouse that had only been operational for a year when its keepers vanished without a trace. The mystery has captivated the imagination of many, inspiring numerous theories and tales of what might have transpired on that desolate rock. The story began on December 26, 1900, when the relief vessel Hesperus arrived at the Eileen Moore to bring supplies and a new crew. As the vessel approached, Captain James Harvey noticed an eerie silence and the absence of the usual welcome party of lighthouse keepers. Aboard the Hesperus was Joseph Moore, the relieving keeper, who volunteered to go ashore and investigate. Upon reaching the lighthouse, Moore found the entrance gate and main door both closed but unlocked. Inside, he discovered that the clocks had stopped and an untouched meal laid on the table, suggesting a hasty departure. Moore's initial search found no trace of the keepers, prompting a thorough
Whoa.
exploration of the island. Eventually, a logbook revealed some details of the keepers' final days, but raised
guys
more
are sick.
questions than it answered. The lighthouse was manned by 3 experienced keepers, James Duckett, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur. The log entries recorded by Marshall detailed several unusual events. On December 12th, Marshall noted several winds worse
Legends.
than anything he had seen in 20 years. Duckett was reportedly quiet, and MacArthur, known for his toughness, was weeping. The next day, the storm continued, and all 3 men were described as praying, despite being seasoned keepers who would normally take such weather in stride. The final entry on December 15th simply read, "Storm ended. Sea calm. God is over all." These entries
Yes.
suggest that the keepers were experiencing something far beyond typical weather-related changes, hinting at a deeper mystery. The unexplained disappearance of the Eileen Moore keepers has led to numerous theories, each attempting to solve the enigma. One prevailing theory is that a
Dang,
giant
these patties are
wave
so
swept the
flaky.
men away. Evidence for this includes the damage found at the West Landing, where equipment
make sure
was
not to get it all
displaced
over my
and railings bent.
Gaming setup.
However, this does not explain why all 3 men would have been outside during such a storm, nor why they would abandon their posts simultaneously. Another theory posits that tensions among the keepers might have led to violence or madness. The isolated and harsh environment could have exacerbated any existing psychological issues, leading to a fatal altercation. However, there is no direct evidence to support this scenario, and all 3 men were described as responsible and experienced.
Where'd they go?
Given the remote and desolate
shit.
nature of Eileen Moore, some speculate supernatural involvement, such as ghosts, sea monsters, or otherworldly forces. While these ideas capture the imagination,
Please.
they lack empirical
Please tell me
evidence
it's not true.
and remain in the realm of folklore. A more modern theory, influenced by contemporary fascination with UFOs, suggests that the keepers were abducted by aliens. This theory, like the supernatural one, is purely speculative and unsupported by concrete evidence. Some conspiracy theories argue that
They
the
probably
men
went to
were
Evan.
involved in or witnessed a clandestine government operation and were subsequently removed to ensure silence. This theory, however, lacks any historical context or supporting documentation. Despite extensive investigations and enduring public interest, the disappearance of the Eileen Moore Lighthouse keepers remains unresolved. The Northern Lighthouse Board, responsible for operating the lighthouses, conducted its own inquiry but concluded that the men were likely swept away by natural forces without providing a definitive explanation.
wind.
The mystery has left a significant cultural imprint, inspiring books, songs, and films. Notably, Wilfred Wilson Gibson's poem Flannan Isle vividly captures the eerie and haunting nature of the event. Additionally, the 2019 film The Vanishing, starring Gerard Butler, dramatizes the events and explores possible psychological and supernatural explanations. The disappearance of the Eileen
Gerard
Moore
Butler.
Lighthouse keepers continues to intrigue and baffle,
What other
standing
movie
as
is
a
that guy in?
testament to the enduring power of unsolved mysteries. While numerous theories attempt to explain the events of December 1900, none provide a conclusive answer, leaving the
That's not
fates
Gerard Butler.
of Duckett, Marshall, and MacArthur shrouded in uncertainty. The story serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by those who lived and worked in remote and perilous
John
environments,
Goodman.
and it continues to captivate the imagination of all.
He's the head of
who
the
hear it.
AC.
The mystery
Whoa,
of
yo, he
Eileen
slimmed
Moore
down.
reflects not only on the specific events, but also on the broader human condition,
Sheesh.
our enduring curiosity, our need for answers, and our fascination with the unknown.
Dude, looks
As
like a
we continue
raisin.
to explore and investigate, the story of the Eileen Moore Lighthouse Keepers remains a
Oh, like, I
haunting
fuck with him
enigma,
now.
a piece of history that resists full understanding, and a compelling narrative that invites endless speculation. The ancient Egyptian dinosaurs. So there's a theory out there that puts forth the idea that dinosaurs were used in the making of
No,
the
no,
Egyptian
no.
pyramids, and that's why
Yes.
they were able to do it without using modern
What
day
the hell did I
technology.
hear?
Because
Dinosaurs?
dinosaurs were used in the making of the Egyptian pyramids, and that's why they were able to do it without. So there's a theory.
So you're
out
telling
there
me that the
puts forth
dinosaurs were the
idea
ones in
that
control of the
dinosaurs
slaves?
were used in the making of the Egyptian pyramids, and that's
Work
why they
faster.
were able to do it without using modern day technology, because they had the assistance of a big, huge
Oh, well, there's a
dinosaur.
picture.
Supposedly, the Egyptians had even written accounts of these huge beasts, supposedly that we now know to be dinosaurs, and that they were a great help in building the
That
pyramids.
can't be. That one's
But
fake.
this is actually debunked by a few Egyptologists that have come out and said that no, the Egyptians built it. They had no assistance from dinosaurs. But we all know that this is blatant propaganda from big media that doesn't want to see dinosaurs winning. They just want them extinct. But you know, we gotta give them their credit for building the pyramids.
That's what I think.
One big question proposed is, what did the dinosaurs even eat in this barren desert? What were the available food
Sand.
options? Did the Anunnaki summon food for them as they helped to build the pyramids or something? Submechanophobia. Submechanophobia
Just not gonna build
is
on that?
the fear of man-made things
Oh,
underneath the water. An example being an art piece that is submerged underwater. The exception being that this man-made thing doesn't need to be fully submerged, just partially. Like animatronics that are submerged underwater, as well as man-made shark art pieces and other things.
Who the hell is
like
making
the
that?
river monsters in this animatronic park located in Japan. They are shown slowly rising out of a pond, and this scarred a lot of kids in the area till this day. Though this fear transcends that and goes beyond just animatronics, it's also the fear of submerged vehicles or a submerged ship. Like the ship, the Titanic, that sank to the ocean floor. Though the fear is often defined as irrational, some people are scared of the object underwater.
That's terrifying. I was gonna say, who's afraid of this stuff? Until this. That's terrifying.
coming to life, or them being trapped by the object, as well as of finding
Airplane.
scary things within the object. I guess this could also trace back to a childhood fear, like almost drowning in a lake or river, or going to the beach and realize you're really
How are they getting these down here? You can't use like drills and screws underwater. You can use screws, but you can't use drills.
scared of the ocean. Shrek drinking glasses. Okay, so at one
Pretty
point,
serious.
McDonald's was selling Shrek drinking glasses, being somewhat of a collectible item depicting characters such as Shrek himself, Donkey, Puss in
I want the
Boots,
Donkey one,
and
and I
the
want the
entire
Shrek one.
family, as well as Fiona.
I want the
And
Puss
these were
one.
pretty simple drinking glasses. They weren't that elaborate. They only depicted the character. The only downside to these collectibles were that they were toxic. Yep, the thing that you pour your juice or any given drink into was the toxic, leading McDonald's to announce a massive recall. Due to these glasses being a public health risk, people that already had them were warned to not use them. The Shrek franchise has been poppin' since like the first movie, and has solidified as an American household classic, up there with legendary movies like Toy Story and The Lion King. So it wasn't a surprise when a restaurant like McDonald's, a franchise so big, wanted to collaborate with DreamWorks on their most epic film. And that's how we got all those exclusive animations
Shrek is
in
fire.
the form of McDonald's ads. All thanks to the DreamWorks and McDonald's contract. Everything was
Hey,
set
Gingy.
perfectly for McDonald's to make the most money out of their Happy Meals. As they terminated their contract with Disney due to their
Gingy's
two
a sleeper
flopping
pick.
films, it
Gingy's
was the
actually
beginning
fire.
of a new era for the McDonald's franchise as a whole. Though these glasses weren't exactly a Happy Meal item, kids were still attracted to them and they wanted to collect them all, alongside their
Flying
parents.
Shrek.
It was a collectible for any age range, making this perfect for McDonald's. There was a major problem though. The paint that was used on the glass contained cadmium, a well-known toxic heavy metal that is carcinogenic, a true poison to our human bodies, causing things like kidney failure. And
That
breathing in
sucks.
high levels of cadmium also damages people's lungs and even lead to death. It's basically something that the average Joe does not want on their drinking cup, let alone their child's drinking cup. And by the time they had already recalled the
this.
product, consumers already had about 9 million of these Shrek Forever After cups, giving a $3 reward if you
Forever
return
After.
the product back to them.
F
The most
no.
interesting thing about all of this is that one cup in particular had the most cadmium out of all of them. That being
Shrek.
the Puss in Boots
Oh,
cup,
Puss.
which had high amounts of cadmium, way more than the other cups like the Donkey Cup or the Shrek Cup. Neon
So you can get the-
Genesis
Oh,
Evangelion,
let's
the
go.
Strange DVD error.
Let's go.
This is in reference to a Reddit post that reads, "Strange video on my Evangelion DVD." So I recently got the entirety of the original Evangelion series on DVD.
Nice.
So I watched it. The episodes were all normal, but when I got to collection 0.7, I saw something weird in the files on specifically about 12 seconds into the menu loop. It shows this short clip of a Japanese woman sitting on a bed in a bikini. I've only
Seriously?
found one other person who's talked about this online, and I didn't really get any answers, so I'm just wondering, does anyone know what this is? I'd post it, but it seems in nature, so I'll refrain. Interestingly enough, this was confirmed to be true and an actual error on the manufacturer's part.
Whoa.
The Mr. Krabs and Pearl theory. In the season 9 episode
That's
Jailbreak,
curious.
it is revealed that Pearl has a father who is in prison. Theories out there claim that he is in there because he killed Pearl's mom, and that Mr. Krabs stumbled upon the crime scene, finding Pearl all alone
No
in
way.
front of the dead mother. Mr. Krabs then proceeded to take her in and make her his daughter. Pearl's biological dad would then go on to be caught and put in prison, ultimately
Krabs is a
explaining
great
the
guy.
season 9 episode. It's known that when a whale dies, its carcass can be used to fuel an ecosystem in the ocean. There's another theory that speculates Mr. Crab used Pearl's mother's carcass as meat for his restaurant, the Krusty Krab,
That's cool.
and therefore making tons and tons of
I want
money
that
from
thumbnail.
all of this free meat. This supposedly being the Krusty Krab's secret ingredient. Some also believe that the
Got
reason
it.
that Mr. Krabs
Got
spoils
it.
Pearl so much
That
is
looks
because he's trying to keep
Kinda like
her
crap.
away from other people and all for himself. Basically trying to trap her in order.
This Mrs. Puff theory is insane. If you know, you know.
to use her carcass after all the other carcass of her mother is finished, therefore making more and more money for Mr. Krabs and fueling his greedy endeavor. Fruitiger Arrow. This is described as the theme that could be found in products in the 2000s and early 2010s,
Soap.
ranging from the
That's
design
dope.
of the early iOS layout, the Windows XP experience as a whole, to the Nintendo, Wii, and DS era, the glossed look effect,
Wait, I want to see
basically the
that.
Nintendo, Wii, and D.
Two faces of the Fruitiger arrow. What is this talking about? Half of these things don't even apply. Oh, yo. These two things are fire, though. This is fire, this is fire. Oh, that makes sense. PS3, fire. I guess Rickroll, fire. Webkins, Bakugan, fire. Chowder, fire. Clone Wars, fire. Naruto, fire. Windows 7, trash. PS3, fire. Neon Cat, fire. Ninjago, fire. Angry Birds, mid.
DS era, the glossed
Avengers
look
on Fire.
effect, basically tied all of these together. Not to mention the theme of nature and green being used, as well as water.
Yes.
This era of design
Oh,
is
that one was
becoming very
tough.
nostalgic, and green being used, as well as water.
Look at that. And the fish are loving it.
This era of design is becoming very nostalgic to a lot of people, as it brings back memories of a simpler time, back when the internet wasn't as complex as it is now. There's even a genre of music that's dedicated to
What can I
this
look up to
era
find
in
this?
history. And let me tell you, it fits the vibe perfectly. It makes me feel like I'm cozied up inside one of those fake fish tank thingies. Michael Jackson Pool Mandela Effect. In the Michael Jackson Beat It music video, there is a pool table that's shown that has no holes in it, meaning where the ball's even supposed to go. This went semi-viral on TikTok as a new Mandela effect, and people started searching up the music video, finding that, yeah, there's no holes in the pool table when it's shown, leaving many people puzzled and frankly scared, believing that there once was holes in the pool table. That is, until you find the truth about this all. The pool tables that we see in the scenes in the music video are actually not pool tables at all. They are carom billiards, a totally different game that do not require pockets, explaining why you don't see pockets in
Getting
the
close.
quote-unquote pool tables in the bar scene in the music video. This also explains why there are only 3 balls in the scene, because it only requires 3 balls to play carom billiards. But what do you guys think? Was there a switch in the universe or something and made the Beat It music video to change, or is it simply a miscommunication?
What?
The Mezies video. It's a
Yeah, there's no
totally different game
holes.
that do not require pool tables that we see in the scenes in the music video are actually not pool tables at all. They are carom billiards, a totally different game
Game
that
looks
do
like
not
crap.
require pockets, explaining why you don't see pockets in the quote-unquote pool tables in the bar scene in the music video. This also explains why there are only 3 balls in the scene, because it only requires 3 balls to play carom billiards. But what do you guys think? Was
Got
there a
you,
switch
berserk.
in the universe or something and made the Beat It music video to change, or is it simply a
Gatsu.
miscommunication? The Mizium 4chan incident. On the website 4chan, there was someone who claimed it to be an alien
Yeah, that's tough.
whose name was Mizium. They had somehow gotten access to the internet
Nice.
and began interacting with people on the website. Mizium claimed that their ship had run out of fuel and that they were located just outside of Earth. Mizium then decided to go to locations that were suggested by the 4chan users. One 4chan user even gave their coordinates
what?
and decided to snap a pic of the UFO as it visited the place where they sent. Though Mizium would say some goofy things that many people would point out as blatantly being fake and a hoax, saying things like, "I learned
No
many
crap.
things, we know 6, we solo make life." life sounds strange. Many people also call to attention the pictures and say that they're way too under quality for such an advanced alien
No
race if they
way,
were
that
to
looks
exist.
cool.
The last message the alien supposedly sent was surprise visit by team. I must search for new Kuko. New system. A good talking to mail. Learned very much. Goodbye. Will return. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Mizium was an actual alien that was going to these coordinates and taking pictures, or was this
Slim
simply a hoax
chance.
and made to troll the 4chan community? Some people have tried to put this to the test by reverse searching the images that Mizium supposedly sent of the moon and other locations, but there was no results of any past photos being the same as the ones that Mizium sent. But then again, they could just be made
Slim
in
chance
Photoshop
that's
or
real.
anywhere else. The Los Angeles shipping container scandal. Malvin Weisberg, a pathologist, had a shipping container in his backyard in a peaceful suburb of Los Angeles. Nobody thought much of it until it was repoed by
my
the
hair on this
company
side's
that
too
owned
long.
it, due to the doctor failing to pay the last 2 payments. Everything was going normal. They sent a truck out to repossess the container and bring it back to their facility. That is, until they tried to bring it off the truck.
Besides
They were
something,
unable to do so because it was simply too heavy, and so they peeked inside. What they witnessed scarred them for life. Without being too descriptive, there were piles and piles of human flesh. The smell coming from the
Piles.
container was so rancid that it caused the workers to start to vomit. The guys in charge of opening up the container described what they saw as mutilated baby bodies. Some of them were so shocked
Babies,
that they
what?
began to cry. The supervisor for the Los Angeles County found that there were approximately 17,000 aborted fetuses in the shipping container. They were stored there by the doctor. Of course, this created an uproar in the media and caused for
There's
there to be
no
an
way.
investigation, finding that these fetuses were aborted in a very inappropriate way, and it was very, very graphic, as they had to conduct autopsies on a few of these bodies, as it wasn't apparent that they were simply aborted.
That's not a
as
mystery.
stated by the coroner's office that was in charge of
Well,
doing
that is a
so.
mystery.
This
but
was so bad that even the president at the time,
I hope
Ronald
they solved
Reagan,
it.
believed that it was a national tragedy, and it also
They were in a
inspired
shipping
a song
container.
by pop singer Pat Boone. Surprisingly, there were no criminal charges filed against any of the parties involved. He even got away with it because he technically did store the specimens properly, but he simply did not dispose of them properly because he had financial difficulties. The entire case was shrouded in controversy, as there was a win for abortion rights at the end of it all, because it ruled that the fetuses could not be buried as human remains. Either way, the people that were working on the shipping container were severely traumatized by this and should have been compensated for such experiences that they went through. A report by the leader post quotes
God
then
dang.
spokesperson for the
Where did
district
all these
attorney's
babies come
office,
from?
Al Albert,
17,000.
as saying they said between 5 and 7 were
Dang, that's so many of them. I don't want to hear any more about that.
replies are really basic, like good luck, amen. A
This is
response to a clearly fake picture of Taylor Swift combined with
Whoa.
a turtle, as well as people congratulating a fake AI photo of a person that doesn't actually exist. No matter how ridiculous and AI looking the photo
This is a miracle.
gets, it almost seems like these people just eat it up and are refusing to believe that this is actually fake and all made up through a computer. And for some reason, this always seems to be a theme. They include Jesus in the AI creation, and he appears somewhere in the photo. Ryan Garcia was acting. So there's this theory going around that Ryan Garcia, the boxer, has been acting crazy in order to sell his fight. On the lead up to the Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia boxing match, there were a lot of strange tweets from Ryan Garcia, claiming that he was invited to a strange elite party and that they were all predators. But that claim isn't
really
entirely off, as we have people like Epstein and all of his connections.
That piqued my interest. What?
Bill Gates gave a really weird interview today where he was asked about his ties to Jeffrey
Sky
Epstein.
News.
I'll let him dig down from here.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so you know, in general, you always have to be careful.
What?
That is nuts. Yo, what did you mean by that? What is this? Yo. I'm not clicking on that. Yo. Let's see.
I was in like a 50-person orgy. So there were about 30 people in like a
50.
bunch of matches that had all been pushed together in the middle. There were, you know, probably another 20 people around the edge. And at the end of that kind of experience, you don't really know like who you've had sex with, what they look like. You don't know anyone's name.
Okay. Bet.
So the swinger lifestyle is basically having sex with someone who is not your primary partner. That can be with your partner, that can be away from your partner, it can be at parties, mid swaps. There's a whole range of stuff in the lifestyle. There are parties that are very cisgender and heteronormative. There are parties that are very kink heavy, and there are queer parties as well. So if you walk into kind of one of the classic, famous straight parties, you won't see a lot of kind of conventionally unattractive people. And what's quite sad is those people get kind of filtered out generally. You'll see much older men bringing these incredibly attractive women who turn out to be escorts because they won't be let in if they turn up as a single man. A lot of the straight parties are very white, very thin, very young, and very blonde as well. I would say generally if you're black or Asian, you don't see as many people there. There's definitely sexualization, for sure. I've seen
racialization,
like these really stacked dudes with these Asian tiny girlfriends, and they'll be on leads, and like I witnessed 2 guys who look like that literally swapping leads for the women. And I don't know whether those women were into that or not, but it felt quite weird. So in terms of joining an orgy, there's like various levels of etiquette. I think what's most important is you make eye contact with someone in the orgy. They normally wave you in. Solo wanking is a general no-go at any party. So, solo wanking is someone who generally presents as male, and they're normally standing in a space, watching people wanking without their consent, and they're normally trying to make eye contact with you. And basically what they're doing is trying to participate in a scene that they weren't necessarily invited into. There are parties for specific kinks. There is a party which is a greedy girls and hot wives party, and it's a ratio of 6 men to 1 woman. There's female domination ones. In London, a lot of the parties have staff who will watch out for rule breaks. They'll monitor orgies, which I'm sure is not particularly a fun job.
This is out of pocket. Wait, they barely even intro this. I'm sort of just taking this like it's like it's normal. What the hell?
They'll normally call someone out and probably ban them from ever coming to the club again. So the old like keys in a dish stuff definitely still happens. I think generally the more provincial the city, the kind of sounds really bad, like the worse the selection criteria. So I've been to some really weird parties. I think the worst one I ever went to was in Birmingham. I had an itch and looked stuff up online and ended up going to this club run by this couple who were lovely, very nice.
Oh, I thought you meant he had like an itch,
the club, I thought had hostesses, and actually what it was 20 men surrounding 2 paid hookers on like a massive ottoman and all this fucking hurt. There was a whole space in Britain for old swingers. There's like cruises.
What is that?
Whole resorts in Mexico.
My eyes.
I think since being in the lifestyle, my sexual boundaries have shifted quite a lot. I have kind of ceased to be shocked by pretty much any sexual behavior. Like, I have friends who are into like display. I have friends who, you know, are into like urethral sounding and medical stuff. Okay, so urethral sounding is taking a rod and inserting it inside the penis. And to me, that's pretty extreme, but like they're living their best life. I think it's really hard to balance like emotional and physical boundaries with the lifestyle. I think what can end up happening is you or the partner that you're with, if you're swinging together, end up being so driven and obsessed by like new sex and new ways to have sex, new people to have sex with, that you like lose touch of the emotion that you two have together. I think the swinger lifestyle can be open to coercive and abusive relationships. I have been in one that was centered around swinging. In hindsight, the only reason that we were together was because I enabled that person access to the swinging lifestyle. And it was very demeaning and very difficult. It evolved
You gotta love the
into
woman you're swinging
an
with.
unwanted, like 24/7 dynamic of sex. It was way too much, and like I wasn't allowed to play with anyone who wasn't someone that he found attractive and female. I think when you're very sexually open, you see it as, oh, my partner wants this, like that's chill, I'm chill with this. But in reality, it's like a lot of control over time. I've definitely seen things that make me really uncomfortable at swing parties. I was actually in an orgy pile a few years ago, and there was a woman underneath me who I'd been playing with, and we finished playing. And her male partner was next to her playing with someone else, and like I could tell that she was super uncomfortable, that she didn't want him to be playing with this other person, that she wanted to stop. There's also a lot of pressure to perform. So, you know, if you go to a party and it's a really exclusive one and the tickets were like £200 per person, for example, and you don't have sex with someone, and your male partner's paid for the whole thing, you'll feel a certain type of way, you'll feel, you know, like you've let them down or whatever. So you end up in these situations where you're kind of having sex with people you don't necessarily want to have sex with people to like justify the ticket price. I think a lot of people are sexually open and they kind of want to believe that a lot of what's happening to them is consensual. And to be clear, a lot of it is. A lot of it is people having a great time.
Is this mostly like a British thing?
If you want to go to the police about something, for example, I haven't really heard about anyone doing that because, you know, if you're in the lifestyle anyway, you don't want to shut the club down. There are some clubs that
I'd be invited,
and it's great. There are other clubs where I have emailed organizers
at
and
least
said
once
this
or
person
twice
was abusive to me and they're not a safe person, and not even to ban them. I said, like, if they're coming to your next party that the tickets for, let me know and I won't come. And they've said, oh, we don't get involved in domestics. I would say generally they're kind of straighter clubs take it less seriously, and it's really sad. And the kinkier and queerer clubs, and again, those people in the lifestyle who really care about consent, they will ban people quite quickly. There are definitely people who join the community for bad reasons, for sure. You know, I think if you are sexually sadistic, you get off specifically on humiliating women, or you specifically get off on hurting people in a way that they don't enjoy, it's a space where a lot of people can convince themselves they're okay with things they're not.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow, there's a lot of these. Diddy Freak Off Party explained. Alright, this is the last one.
Congratulations! You've been invited to a party hosted by none other than famous rap mogul Puff Daddy. It's going to be an extravagant gala and definitely going to skyrocket your social media following. But when you get there, it's just Diddy and a few of his close friends looking like plankton in his basement dungeon. And you're being told to take a bottle of lube to a private room to prepare yourself, all while Diddy licks his lips and looks at you, whispering to himself, I was in one bedroom, dreaming of a million. Now I'm in beach houses, cream to the ceiling. As you're about to find out, one of Puff Daddy's most famous lyrics could have been quite literal. 1,000 bottles of lube, enough to fill a very large aquarium. This was the shocking discovery inside of one of Puff Daddy's homes after a federal search warrant was executed against him. And all of that lube? Well, it was meant to be used by some of your favorite celebrities in what Diddy called freak-off parties. Try to picture 1,000 bottles of lubricant. Odds are you're not picturing enough. At 12 fluid ounces each, Diddy's freak-out lube stash would be almost enough to completely fill a 100-gallon fish tank. So why did Diddy need enough lube to create a slip and slide that could stretch across the entire length of a movie theater, from the lobby to the front screen? And we mean that literally. 1,000 12-ounce bottles.
I can imagine 1,000. That's not that crazy.
Which would let you cover a slip and slide 6 feet wide and around 630 feet long with 1 millimeter of personal lubricant, or a total surface area of almost 350 meters. At Diddy's movie theater, you could slide in the front door on a cushion of sex lube, whiz by the concession stand for your popcorn and soda, and then slide into your front row seats right by the big screen. And what's playing in Diddy's theater? Well, one of his personal home movies, but more on that soon.
Oh, no.
First, let's talk about enough lube to drown an elephant seal. Americans buy in bulk, as we know, and there's a
See,
Costco
that's what
right down the
happened.
street. These are actual statements from P. Diddy's lawyer in response to the discovery of 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil at Diddy's home. While it is true that Americans enjoy bargain shopping from big box stores, most Americans also don't need enough lubricant to fully insert a Minuteman intercontinental ballistic missile into a missile silo.
Oh my
That is a
God.
little nervous because this is their first time. The public discovery of Diddy's freak-off parties come alongside startling revelations from the numerous criminal cases against him. In 2023, Sean John Combs, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Lube Daddy, aka P. Slip and Slide, aka Federal Defendant Number 1, saw his entire career unwind with allegations that he had abused and exploited former girlfriend Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie. He was 37 years old and she was just 19 when they first met, quickly making her financially and career dependent on him. At these freak-off parties, it's alleged that he forced Cassie to perform acts on others against her will. The case would be settled out of court without the terms of the settlement being publicly revealed. However, it's likely that this included a very large financial compensation. There's no word on compensation for Diddy blowing up Kid Cudi's car after he became enraged to discover that Cudi had been dating Cassie. Given how much lube Diddy had on hand, getting his car blown up was the least of Cudi's worries. But Cassie's lawsuit was the tip of the iceberg, because Puff Daddy, aka Lube Master 3000, was already facing several other cases for exactly the same type of behavior. And front and center of these allegations were P. Baby Oil Diddy's freak-off parties, for both legal reasons and to protect their reputations. It has become incredibly difficult to get solid details on what exactly went on at these freak-off parties from those who attended. But it doesn't take much imagination when there are literally 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oil involved. Odds are
Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car, allegedly. It's 2012, and Diddy's longtime girlfriend, an R&B singer by the name of Cassie, has finally worked up the courage to not only leave him, but pursue a relationship with another man. That man being Kid Cudi, who was just coming off his platinum album, The Legend of Mr. Rager. I know you remember it. Diddy isn't known for being the most secure man out there, and allegedly, which we have to say so we don't get sued, he was quick to start making threats. Diddy makes a comment to Cassie about Cudi's car, spontaneously combusted, and just days later, Cudi and his homies hear an explosion in his driveway and go to see that his vehicle is up in flames. Now, Cudi is terrified, and so is Cassie. The two realize what kind of chaos Diddy is actually capable of. Now, Diddy denies any and all connections to this event, but Cudi actually came forward to confirm everything on Cassie's behalf. I mean, I think that it probably happened. I think it's too coincidental. But what do you guys think? Drop a comment and let me know which story I should.
Diddy's a mastermind. Don't mess with him. See that?
Come out and play. Hennessy. Come out and play.
Oh, Diddy, you sweet, you sweet son of a gun. What is this? Some kid laughing. Oh, that's not funny.
Hennessy. Come out and play.
He's a menace.
With that much lubricant to make things nice and slippery, Diddy and his guests were not hosting a chess club. Some leaks have emerged, though, painting a sordid picture of Combs' freak-off parties. Allegedly, they involved multi-day-long marathons of physical debauchery, with P. Diddy, aka Slip Daddy, flying in sex workers specifically for the events. That particular allegation seems to have some basis in reality, as amongst the many charges Diddy seems unable to slip out of are related to sex trafficking across state lines, for which he is being prosecuted under the infamous Mann Act. Allegedly, Diddy's flesh fests would begin after his famous white parties, which would attract major celebrities such as Leonardo DiCaprio and Mariah Carey. However, after the A-listers left, Diddy would put on a completely different show for a select group of friends. Michael Kaplan of the New York Post, who broke details on freak-offs, reported that Diddy would lure in women whom he was personally managing or had met at various adult clubs, along with sex workers. Using either drugs, money, or power over their career, Diddy forced the women to participate. Afterwards, to ensure their silence, he would use video footage taken at the events as blackmail leverage or simply threaten to ruin their career. But freak-offs had other surprises of their own. According to a well-placed drug dealer who was invited to one of these events, male rappers would engage in acts with each other as well, including some very high-profile and well-known talent whose names have not come to the spotlight yet. However, for any fan of the Boondocks, this type of behavior has long been an open secret amongst the hip-hop community. Heavy security would ensure complete privacy, and only people personally invited by Combs were allowed to enter. Threats of violence, drug addiction, and blackmail were all used to ensure complete secrecy, as well as a healthy amount of payouts for at least some individuals, such as Cassie. Even if guests wanted to leave, the sheer amount of personal lubricant flooding the party space would have made that difficult. There's also been no publicly released footage or any photos from any of these freak-off parties, though low-effort media has been using old clips or photos from legitimate white parties that Diddy hosted in their place as clickbait. Allegations that celebrities like Kevin Hart, Leonardo DiCaprio, or Beyonce attended these parties are unproven and rely entirely on photos and videos of them at known white parties. Combs is, at the time of writing, behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center after being labeled a flight risk, as federal raids against his videos of them at known...
Young Leo. That is a sick picture. Yeah. It's a good picture. Of course, bro. Fun times.
White parties. Combs is, at the time of writing, behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center after being labeled a flight risk, as federal raids against his U.S. homes were being carried out back in March. Diddy had taken his private plane to Antigua in the Caribbean. Thinking the situation over, he decided to return and was subsequently denied bail requests. Commenting on the discovery of 1,000 bottles of lubricant in one of his homes, Diddy, through his lawyer, wanted it to be clear that the presence of over 90 gallons of lube and baby oil was not, quote, as nefarious as it seemed. Because who doesn't have a commercial-sized aquarium's worth of personal lubricant for various needs in their home? Sean Slippery Combs is facing some serious jail time for the charges against him, even as the details of freak-off parties remain tightly under wraps by federal prosecutors. At a minimum, Combs faces 15 years in prison, though it's possible he could spend the rest of his life in prison if the federal sex trafficking charges are proven, along with a $250,000 fine. The real question is, how do federal authorities hope to keep a man behind bars who has spent so much of his life steeped in gallons and gallons of personal lubricant now slip into this video? The wealth...
He's gonna slide right out. Alright, I gotta peep.